It started with a shout, not a fire, not an accident, not a medical emergency. Just one person calling for security. But on a cruise ship, in the middle of the ocean, one shout can sound like disaster. Tonight, on Travel and Cruise, this is not a story about blame, it's a lesson about how small actions at sea can trigger very big consequences. Cruising is one of the most popular ways Americans travel. Modern cruise ships are floating resorts designed for relaxation, adventure, and unforgettable destinations. They promise peace, safety, and escape from everyday stress. But cruising also comes with a reality many travelers don't think about. At sea, every alert is treated as real. Because when thousands of lives are on board, cruise management cannot assume anything is minor. Let's see what happened. A beautiful day on a private island. Clear skies, families relaxing, music playing softly in the background. Passengers are spread across the beach, enjoying what cruise tourism does, best freedom and leisure. The afternoon was calm. The kind of day cruise passengers remember for years. Near the edge of the beach, a man stood slightly apart from the crowd, holding a cigarette, watching the waves roll in. He wasn't loud. He wasn't looking for attention. He believed he was far enough away to avoid bothering anyone. Another man approached him, his expression tense. "You can't smoke here," he said firmly. "This is a non-smoking area." The smoker looked up, surprised but calm. "All right," he replied. "If this isn't allowed, I'll move. I don't want any trouble." He took a few steps back toward a shaded corner, putting distance between himself and the main group of guests. But the second man followed. "You shouldn't be smoking anywhere near people," he said, his voice rising. "There are families around." "I hear you," the smoker answered, lowering the cigarette. "That's why I'm stepping away." For a brief moment, it looked like the situation would end there. Then the tone changed. "Security! Security!" the second man suddenly shouted. The word carried across the beach, sharp and urgent. People stopped talking. Heads turned. Some guests stood up quickly, scanning the area, unsure of what was happening. The smoker turned toward them, shocked. "Why are you yelling?" he said. "There's no emergency." "I'm leaving," but the shouting continued. Louder now, repeated again and again. Crew members began moving fast. Radios crackled. Security personnel ran toward the scene, expecting something serious. "This didn't need to happen," the smoker said quietly, stepping farther away. You could have told crew calmly. By the time security arrived, the issue was no longer about smoking. It was about panic. What started as a simple rule disagreement had turned into a full emergency response, because on a cruise ship, how you call for help can matter more than why. And in that moment, both men realized something important. At sea, once alarm replaces calm, control disappears. What was the reality behind the shout? Here's where the lesson begins. The reason for the shouting was not a major emergency. It was a dispute. One passenger had seen another passenger smoking in an area where smoking was not allowed. That concern, on its own, was valid. But the response, screaming loudly and repeatedly as if lives were in danger, changed everything. Cruise lines cannot afford hesitation. False alarms are treated as real emergencies because real emergencies look exactly the same at first. When security hears shouting, they must assume someone may be injured. A fight may be happening. Panic may spread. Guests could get hurt. That's why a large security response was triggered, not because of smoking but because of how the situation was reported. When a small issue becomes a big problem, in moments like this, perception becomes reality. Guests thought something serious was happening. People panicked. Some were injured during the rush. What began as a rule violation turned into a safety risk. And at that point, cruise management had to act. Do you know why management took action? Cruise management didn't act because someone complained. They acted because the method of calling security created a false emergency. Under cruise conduct policies, causing panic, disruption, or unnecessary emergency activation is considered disorderly conduct. At sea, that behavior is taken very seriously. The passenger who escalated the situation was detained, restricted from movement, and later faced long-term consequences. Here's an important travel fact many people don't realize. Cruise ships operate under maritime law. The captain has full authority. Safety decisions are final. Anything that creates panic, disrupts operations, endangers guests, can result in immediate action even if the original concern was valid. This story teaches a powerful lesson. Being right doesn't protect you. If the way you react puts others at risk, on cruise ships, how you report an issue matters as much as the issue itself. Calm communication leads to solutions. Public panic leads to consequences. Here is travel tip: how to handle issues on a cruise. Smart cruisers, remember this. Step away from the situation. Notify crew quietly. Let security handle enforcement. Avoid shouting or confrontation. Protect everyone's vacation. This approach keeps you safe and keeps control in your hands. Cruise ships are isolated environments. There is no backup police force minutes away, no hospital down the street, no easy evacuation. Every alarm costs time, manpower, and focus. False emergencies pull resources away from real ones. That's why cruise lines respond firmly. When panic spreads, children feel it first. Families react emotionally. Crowds move unpredictably. Minor injuries happen quickly. Cruise management's job is to prevent that chain reaction. Sometimes that means disciplining the person who started a tyranny if their concern began with good intentions. Here is a travel message. This lesson goes beyond cruising. Airports, hotels, theme parks, resorts. Modern travel is shared space travel. The best travelers are not the loudest. They're the calmest. The ocean is powerful, but human reactions can be more dangerous. Cruise ships carry thousands of dreams on every voyage. One moment of panic can shake all of them. Travel teaches us more than geography. It teaches responsibility, and sometimes the most important travel lesson isn't where you went, but how you handled a moment when things didn't go as planned. If you enjoy cruise stories, travel lessons, and learning how to travel smarter, subscribe to Travel and Cruise, because great travel isn't just about destinations. It's about understanding the journey. Safe travels. Thanks for watching.